And so much for just one day of rain. This actually isn't that bad though. Yesterday it was raining pretty hard for a while. Had to be in full rain gear plus the umbrella. This is actually pretty nice because it keeps the temperature down. Also, this has just been an amazing stay. I've really enjoyed how peaceful it is here. And these are some of the nicest folks, which I keep saying about every trail angel, but that's trail angels for you. It does make it a little hard to leave because quite often I meet nice people, but there's also hostility from nuns and other things. So it's hard to give, it's both, I really appreciate the friendly reception and conversation, and then it's a little hard to go back out. And this is literally the coolest shower setup I've ever seen. I want one of these just full time. Probably wouldn't be the best in winter, but it is nice being able to just be out here versus inside some shower in a hotel. Unfortunately, I have pretty much delayed as much as I can justify. Doesn't look like the rain's gonna stop. But on the plus side, I'm gonna get back to trails, so maybe I have some mud to play around in. And sadly, I just had to say goodbye, and now I am back on the trail. I love being out here. I start getting antsy when I'm sitting still, but when you get that kind of, you know, homey staying with family sort of feel from somebody, it gets hard to get back out on trail. That was why I struggled so much on the CDT when my parents came to visit me. They were really nice, and they brought me a lot of little comforts and like my comfy off-trail sweater and stuff like that. It's a different headspace. This is why when I got Girardia 70 miles into the Pacific Crest Trail, I refused to kind of go back home or anything. I insisted on staying on the trail in a hotel while I was crapping my brains out. Thinking this is a really auspicious start to this. Between that and the Achilles injury around mile 500, I did not have the smoothest start on the PCT, but fortunately I didn't make videos, or, well, sadly. So I think I have a more idealized memory of how well that went. So sadly, the rain is still here. It is lasting throughout the day. They're also saying isolated thunderstorms in the afternoon. And see, yesterday when I was getting wet, when the rain got heavy for a while, at least I could say, well, I'm gonna have a shower at the end of the day, and I was able to throw all this in the dryer. I didn't wash it again, just dried it out. So you become a little more immune to, it doesn't matter how wet I get, versus today I'll be in the tent at the end of the day. Whatever's wet will be still wet in the morning. Sharon and Todd were super nice. It's always the little dogs. And basically came to pick me up whenever I wanted, so I was able to get my full 22 miles in yesterday, which was kind of comforting because I'm still rehabbing some minor issues on my foot. Unfortunately, it is on the bottom of my foot, which is hard to tape or improve. So I was able to get through yesterday. That is encouraging, as long as I can limp around and get 20-ish miles. And honestly, I'm getting started here at 11, so if I'm a little under mileage, I'll just count that as a partial rest day. I feel like I've just been spoiled on this trip by all the home-cooked meals I've been getting. Dory and Tammy, these folks, it's usually a rare treat, if anything. I mean, when I did the ECT, I think I had a surprise homestay on the IAT, Chenzing and his wife, that just blew me away. I was telling them how a lot of the places I've seen, like MJ on the Arizona Trail, you know, they're super sweet and they open up their home, but there's like 8 hikers in there, everybody on like couches and just stacked on top of each other. And I would rather be hiding in the tick-infested bushes than that. I managed to stay up till only about 10 o'clock or so last night chatting with them. The night before I was up till midnight, but I also slept in the middle of the day. And I just get so tired out here. I have no capacity to stay up late. But I think I jumped into the shower at 10 and then I passed out until my alarm went off this morning. And sadly, this was goodbye. I am hoping to get back out this way with Jen sometime, because that was just such a cool place with how they did the lighted trees and everything. I was saying maybe we'll go paddle the Ohio at some point and be able to get back this way. Basically had the setup of my dreams, you know, back away from roads, off in the woods, the pond. I loved kicking around in that little paddle boat, the outdoor shower, all the things. Never mind it's a super nice house they had, but quite frankly, if I was going to have a set place, I would be perfectly happy in a little rustic shack that just had a cool outdoor area like that. When I lived in Live Oak Canyon around Orange County, I never had the windows closed, and I was basically always out back because I opened up into forest. Sadly, I don't think that's likely anytime soon, since all the little rustic cabins around Southern California within our range shot up from, a few years ago, 160K to now like 500K. So nomads it is, at least for the foreseeable future. I think that was the first time I've ever stayed 2 nights in a row with a trail angel like that. And I didn't have any sort of thing in between. It kind of made sense, and I'm kind of having to adapt my preferences just with what made sense. There were a couple of places yesterday I could have stealth camped, but around where I stopped, not so much. Today I have about 10 miles along the roads like this with a billion dogs barking at me apparently. And then I am on another dirt trail section. So tonight should be mostly legal dispersed camping, if not in a set campsite. I think I'm 25 miles from the end of that trail. So assuming the weather doesn't completely turn, my plan is just to go until 8:30, 9 o'clock and then find a spot out of sight near the end. And it is now Sunday. Jen's last day of school is Friday, then she will hit the ground running, and I will see her next Saturday. So, time to enjoy my little man cave set up in my tent until I get to cohabitate for about 9 weeks. Last couple of times I've talked to her, she has been super excited that she's coming out to see me, and I have been super excited I get to see her. I've been a little more run down and stressed, hoping that she comes out when I'm not in one of the more difficult sections. Though she's a trooper, I'm hopeful that we can still keep up the 20 to 22 mile pace. You can play with that because, okay, well, if you're going a little slower, you can make that if you are doing 2 miles an hour if you are out for 10 hours. The road sections at least have been more straightforward here. It seems like, I don't know about Missouri so much, but Kansas looks like it's flat, straight, and the biggest challenge is just going to be where we stay at the end of the day. And it's slowly making its way into my thick skull that I just need to engage with trail angels a little more if I don't want to be, stuck in quote unquote bad camping situations. Thing is, I do just honestly love camping. It's great staying in places like this, and I really enjoyed it. It was really comfortable having a hot shower and all that. But at the end of the day, I like being in my tent and kind of doing my normal routine. Plus, I'm way better about editing videos. I'm now basically 2 or 3 days behind, just because I was talking till I went to bed. Then as soon as I woke up, I was drinking coffee and talking. And they were even really understanding because their daughter is like a big social media. I think that's how she makes her living. But I just couldn't tear myself away and stop talking to go sit there and listen to myself talk. Oh well, I was hoping maybe it would just be like non-umbrella type rain, but there are just some RV classics out here. So this is basically where I'd hoped to go see Todd and Sharon. Thought I'd make it here yesterday, but I stopped and got a sandwich and it put me a mile or two behind. But it worked out. They were super nice about picking me up and dropping me off. Oh, I wish my right foot was behaving a little better. My left one's fine, but the right's got some ball and toe issues. And 30 minutes later, we got sunshine. The sun actually came out and it was an absolute sauna for about 10 minutes while I ate my apple. And now, round 17 million or whatever it is as far as rainstorms. It is just roadkill and discarded panties out here today. This must be a really romantic part of the state. Welcome to the next soggy trail section. So in this section, it actually goes along the KT Trail, Knobstone Trail. And it doesn't do a ton of it, but I've got about, I think, 10 miles on it. My plan is to camp just before the end. I've been eyeing the streams and not being too happy with them around here, and that lady was nice enough to stop and give me water. Oh good, found the mountains. Okay, should be a trail around here somewhere. Well, Todd told me not to expect a trailhead, and yeah, he wasn't kidding. So this is me joining the Knobstone Trail. It's funny, I'm on the roads and I forget just how annoying the damn spider webs are. I am getting covered. Hey guy, just a few days too early. There were probably a distressing number of spiders all over me. This was my first water source in a while, so I decided time to fill up. Still got a couple hours to go. Unfortunately, it's been slower going with the iffy trail on some of the climbs, and just the spider webs are annoying yet again. It is so bloody humid today. I think I was drier when it was raining. And to think, everything was dry when I put it on this morning. Hey there, buddy. Well, that's interesting. Just ran across two guys camped at one of the campsites. You would hope if there were other people out here, I'd have a few less spider webs. Yeah. Okay, found an official campsite, but it was not the best. It looked like somebody had just made a fire pit on the side of the trail, so I found a dispersed site that's good enough. Feels good to actually be back in the tent. Though, every single thing is just soaking wet. The humidity was just killer this afternoon. Which, I'll be dry in a minute here, but it's gonna suck putting all this back on in the morning, but oh well. Home sweet home.
And I'm off on the last weekend trip before summer. We are doing a one-night trip out of the Kennedy Meadows trailhead. Kennedy Meadows is a big milestone on the PCT and a really laid-back, low-key spot for early season trips. Fun fact, after Matt left his IT job in 2019, this was the first place we came to celebrate, did a week-long trip out here, and as part of it scouted the trip that we're gonna do with the group today. Ever since then, that day is in our calendar as F this shit, I'm out day. This is the South Fork of the Kern after our left. This is the thing I really like about this trail. For the first couple of miles, you're hearing and seeing the river the whole way.
like blue. I have my, yellow one. Like beige, yellow.
This was our main objective. Really nice solid rock summit looking down over the PCT and the Kern. Morning in camp down by the Kern. Totally forgot to home sweet home last night. Got to get back in that habit. But this was our happy camp.
Adventure go to Bear Flag and then you Uber?